Hey everyone, it's PJ.
And Jake.
This podcast is about alcohol.
And the consumption of alcohol.
Therefore, this show is not recommended for anyone under the legal drinking age.
We also encourage our listeners to always drink responsibly.
And never get behind the wheel of a vehicle while intoxicated.
And now, on to the show.
Welcome to the Boozatory. Class is now in session.
Hello, it's me, the Boozatory. Actually, the Boozatory is not a person, it's a podcast. Hi, I'm Jake Brunig, one of the hosts of the Boozatory. I'm happy to be here with the star of the show, Mr. PJ Wagner. Hi, buddy.
How's it going, Jake?
It's going good. You know, it's been a while since we've recorded, and we're trying a lot of new things. We live together now.
Yeah, kind of.
Sort of, yeah. You definitely still are a heavy commuter to the suburbs, all in due time, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely gonna be a process, but
But you sleep here sometimes.
yeah, and sometimes I don't sleep at all. So
I sleep here too much, is what it is.
So basically, the house is getting enough sleep. It's just not split up evenly.
I'm unemployed at the moment, and I take a lot of sadness naps. It's just I'm too tired to exist. And you just kind of, I'm going to just go to bed.
Yeah, but I heard a story earlier this week, and by heard, I mean I read a hilarious Facebook post that you have a solution to this sadness.
I?
There's this thing you like to go and do.
What do I do? Oh, is it the game I play?
Yeah, it's the game you play.
Yeah, so I play a little game sometimes when I'm bored and unemployed called Pretend I'm Rich. And that can entail a number of things. What it entailed this past week, I believe it was on Thursday, it entailed me sitting in a bunch of really expensive furniture that I can't afford, and I test drove a Lincoln.
I think you started off by going to Menards.
I did go to Menards. Menards is a very fun place for me. Menards, Home Depot, just big hardware stores. There's a therapeutic quality of it for me.
You just like to walk in and smell things?
I kind of just like to walk to the tool section and just kind of go, and just let people look at me and be like, oh, you're really doing that here? And I'm like, yeah. That's how I get through my day.
Just look at a bunch of tools you have no idea what they do. You might as well be in the middle of an operating room.
Yeah, pretty much. Actually, of all the things I wanted at Menards, it was a couch.
All right. Tell me about this couch, Jake.
No, it was just it was like a fake leather couch. It had cup holders. That was fun.
Cup holders are good.
Yeah, who doesn't love a cup holder? Because what can you put in a cup holder? Cups of alcohol. And that's what we like. So what you do is, and this is a lesson for the folks at home, I implore you to try this game. It's real fun. So I'll walk into a place that I definitely cannot afford anything they have there. Which at this point is like the grocery store for me. But so I'll walk in, for example, I went to Art Van Furniture, and I just walked in with the confidence that I could buy anything in there I wanted. Salesman will come up to you and go, hey, how's it going? What are you looking for today? And then that's when I kind of I craft my story. I get in there and I go, hey, me and my girlfriend, who doesn't exist, we're looking to buy a couch, car, etc., insert product here. And we're not sure what we were looking for yet, so I'm just kind of here doing the preliminary work, looking around, yada, yada. And then they'll give you their card and a glass of water and all these nice things and go, yeah, just go look around and blah, 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 blah. Come find me if you need anything. And then I sit on everything, all the couches. I sit on all of them. And some of them are bad. Who wants a suede couch? That fucks with me so hard. I don't know why.
I could see why someone would want it, but there's also so many times where you just don't want a suede couch.
Yeah, no. Maybe you're adventurous and venture out of the bedroom for your bedroom adventures. Suede, I feel like, would be weird if you're trying to do that on the couch.
Yeah, suede is a super strong grained leather, so if you started rubbing up against that and you go the wrong way, that's just not a comfortable feeling.
No, and leather is actual leather, it gets sticky after a while and you peel off of it like a Band-Aid.
And you don't even have to be doing bedroom stuff for that, you can just be sitting on it.
Exactly. But so I found a couch that I liked and wasn't going to buy. And when you're well, here's the thing, is I went to a couple places. The most they'll ask me or at least this has been my experience, the most they'll ask me is go, hey, what do you do for a living? And I know that means it's like, can you actually afford to shop here? And my answer all the time is like, yeah, I work in tech, I do app development, all that jazz. They usually don't question me further.
Yeah, it's such a broad field. You could just make up something with a basic knowledge of computers, and the average like IKEA salesman isn't going to be able to like come at you with anything on it.
Pretty much. Like the worst thing you're gonna do is like go to a car dealership and they're gonna make you run a credit check before you test drive, and at that point just run away.
Yeah,
I've literally ran out of a Ferrari dealership before.
Or what you do is you dive further into it and you go, we can't run a credit check. They're like, well, why? It's like, I can't talk about it, but just trust me, we can't run one. And see how far you can keep this lie going and make them really question who you are.
Okay. At that point, like after I've like looked at stuff and I'm starting to look like I'm getting ready to leave, that's when they come at me with the hard sell. All I have to say, or at least this is the move that I've taken to, is I'll just be like, I can't really drop any money on stuff until the old ball and chain signs off on it.
Dear
and it's always a male salesman go like, I gotcha. No worries, man. Here's my card. You find me when you're ready. And I'm like, cool. And then they never see me again.
Yeah, you walk outside, you leave the card in the trash, or you put it on some nice person's windshield.
And then I go back to Home Depot for a hot dog, because they sell hot dogs.
What?
I'm in that kind of income bracket right now, man.
Yeah, price aside, no, hot dogs at Home Depot. I mean, I guess people have hot dogs in their home, and ergo Home Depot would carry them.
Nah, it's exactly what it's at. Home Depot has a concession stand with hot dogs.
They also sell popcorn?
Yep.
That seems right.
I'm just getting in there, getting a Depot dog, just living my life. So if you haven't noticed, we haven't introduced guests. That's because we're running solo, because we haven't done this in a while. We've got kind of a new setup, and we're testing stuff out. And we're doing something a little different for this episode that we haven't done yet. Boozatory is a play on the word conservatory, like college, university, blah, blah, blah. And what do you have to take in college but humanities courses? Those were fun classes, I would say.
Yeah, I enjoyed those.
Yeah, but that's no different here. You got to take your booze humanities courses. So we're going to do a booze humanities course. And basically what that's going to entail is PJ has a story from the long and cultured history of alcohol. And, it may be a particular type of alcohol, the origin story of a company, or just an alcohol-related event in history. And he's just going to lay it out there, and I'm going to go, what?
Yeah, and today we're diving into one of the most rich and, to me, one of the most interesting histories in all of alcohol. And we're gonna start off in France, and then we'll work our way back to the U.S. from there. We're gonna be talking about some monks and a very, very special alcohol made by these monks, known as Chartreuse.
And if you recall back to episode 2, we have drank Chartreuse on the show. You know it, you love it. I got yelled at for shooting it.
I don't want to say that you're wrong for shooting it. However, you went for it too fast, too early.
I got excited.
Yeah, Chartreuse is delicious. It's hard not to get excited.
It is. You exposed it to me. There's a fantastic cocktail establishment here in Chicago called the Sportsman Club. That is where I first became accustomed to this beverage.
Yeah, we had an interesting day there.
And if you are out of town and you find yourself in Chicago, definitely go to the Sportsman Club. They do a really cool cocktail program. I don't know if you want to explain. You could probably explain it better than me.
Yeah, so Sportsman Club is one of the top cocktail bars in the country. They are in the Ukrainian village of Chicago. It's a really cool area. Lots of great food around there as well. They've got this really interesting, eclectic old school vibe on the inside. They're even using an old school cash machine, and then there's stuffed animals, heads on the wall, an old taxidermy hunting lodge. There's also this amazing selection of liquor, and they have a rotating cocktail menu that changes every day. The bartenders come in, and that day they make 4 cocktails.
And that's the menu.
And yeah, that's their cocktail menu. I mean, they have some things that are always there. I think they have what they call the low life special, which is either a Hamm's or a Miller Lite and then a shot of whiskey.
AKA creme de Jake.
Yeah, it's pretty much the city go-to. I've seen it in so many places that, everyone's got their house shot.
Yep.
But yeah, they do an amazing job there. And if you want to have the chance to drink some really nice whiskey and some really nice spirits and not spend a ridiculous amount of money doing it, their pricing is super, super reasonable. Just to throw the name brands at you, we had both Chartreuse and we had Pappy Van Winkle, two different vintages.
Oh, shit, I forgot about that one. What's the Pappy Van Winkle again?
So Pappy Van Winkle is a...
Outside of being a hilarious name.
Yeah, so it's a whiskey or bourbon that's made in Kentucky, and it's very small batches are released at a time. So typically the price is pretty high, and it's allocated. You have to buy a certain amount of product from the Sazerac company on this like point system to qualify for.
So you can't just buy the bottle.
You can, but you're going to spend a lot of money. For restaurants to get it, it's a little... restaurants and bars, it's allocated. I'm sure you could go online and buy it from somebody, but you're going to pay a lot of money for it.
Well, what's a lot of money look like?
Well, the bottles can go anywhere from like $50 up to like in the thousands.
That's a weird range.
Yeah.
That's so inconsistent.
Yeah, I think we had like the 10 and the 20 year while we were there. It was, over a year ago now, so it's a little hard to remember exactly what we had, but
yeah,
I think we had both the 10 and the 20 while we were there. I like the 10.
Yeah, so the thing about Chartreuse, people hear the word Chartreuse and they're like, that's a color. And
yeah, there's a quote from a Quentin Tarantino film, I think it's Death Proof, released in 2009, where he walks up to the bar and he orders Chartreuse and he says this line, a liquor so good they named a color after it.
And then he killed that lady.
Probably. It's a Tarantino film.
Yeah.
There were feet in there somewhere, too.
Yeah, it's just feet flying around and cars going... And they left Mary Elizabeth Winstead with a weird, creepy farmer.
You've already way past everything I know about that movie. Literally, my knowledge in that movie is that Quentin Tarantino orders a shot of Chartreuse.
Fair enough. But speaking of it, people think of the color... But Chartreuse comes in two colors.
Yes. So there is yellow Chartreuse, which is what we're going to start off with today, which you have not had, and I've only had a couple of times. What you're going to notice, it's a little easier to drink because it's not 110 proof. This one's only 80 proof. So,
Yeah, and on first impression, the smell is very flowery.
Yes.
Which is in my wheelhouse because, again, I'm a Lord fan.
So when we talk about Chartreuse, there are two different ways to describe it. The yellow is floral and the green is vegetal.
Okay.
Which is another one of those fancy words we haven't used on here. Vegetal, meaning it tastes like vegetation. Floral is quite obviously it smells and tastes like the flowers, where vegetal would be more of an earthy kind of flavor.
Okay. So let's give this one a go.
So right off the bat, you're going to notice it's a little sweeter. We are drinking this cold for the yellow Chartreuse.
And this is how this one's meant to be served.
Yes. Well, it's meant to be served any way that you enjoy it. So
it's recommended.
It's recommended cold. How they drink it in France, they drink it cold the same way that the Italians drink limoncello.
Okay.
It's a dessert drink.
Yeah, it's got a licorice-y quality to it.
Yeah, it's the anise that you're tasting. Star anise. So you're definitely going to get some of that licorice. The color in it comes entirely from saffron. So very expensive color. But luckily, in the Carthusian Mountains, saffron grows naturally there, so they're able to source it very locally.
Yeah, because I'll be honest, this is not the cheapest stuff.
Yeah,
we bought the small bottles. Both came at like $36 a bottle.
Yeah, 375 milliliters is about almost $40. So.
Yeah. So it's not the cheapest stuff. It's definitely like a special occasion for other people, not me.
Yeah, I wish I could say it was a special occasion thing, but I enjoy this regularly. I have it pretty consistently. Mm-hmm. It's definitely one of my favorite things to drink and a cocktail with, which we'll get into a little bit of that later on. But yeah,
the yellow specifically is?
No,
Chartreuse in general. Okay.
Yeah.
We finish each other's sandwiches.
Don't touch my sandwich, Jake.
So yeah, let's talk about the origins.
To start off, we have to talk about France a little bit. Mm-hmm. In France, there's an area of the Alps known as the Carthusian or Chartrusian Alps, depending on how you choose to pronounce that. And located in those Alps is a monastery known as La Grande Chartreuse, which is where these monks live. They are Carthusian monks. That's where the name comes from. And that monastery was started sometime in the 1070s. So it's a little old. Basically, this this person who founded the monastery, decided life in like 1075, 1077, I can't remember the exact year, was just too hectic and too busy. So he decided he was going to leave and go into the Alps and create a monastery to get away from the hustle and bustle of life.
And what year was this again?
It's in the 1070s. It's like 1075 to 1078.
Here's the thing, is back then, all you could do was just wait for the day to pass.
Farm. That's about it.
Yeah, and I can't imagine someone in that day and age going like, fuck this, I don't want to play by your rules.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So there we have the start of the monastery, right? To give you an idea, Chartreuse, as we know it, wasn't actually made until 1764. However, the manuscript was discovered by one of King Henry IV's artillery marshals. He found this manuscript, and it had all these ingredients listed on it, 130 different ingredients. And he took it around to everyone he could find, and no one could figure out what it was. He went to every apothecary, and no one could figure it out. So he's like, well, if the apothecaries can't figure it out, then I'll take it to the monks. Because if anyone is going to be able to understand this, it's them. So he brings it to the monks, and they start working on it. And they figure out that it is this elixir.
in our time, that would, like, apothecaries would be like...
Bartenders.
Okay. That was
It'd be like a pharmacist.
It was a much nicer analogy than I was going to go with.
It'd be like your pharmacist or someone who works in like the pharmacological field. Someone who works in medicine, in like the actual manufacture of medicine.
Yeah.
And the administration of it.
You know, those guys back in the day where it's like, hey, I have a headache, what can I do? And they're like, well, we can put a leech on the tip of your dick.
Yeah, we can cut you up and let you bleed for a while. So, 1605, the manuscript for an elixir of long life is found and eventually given to the monks. And they start calling it the Elixir Végétal de la Grande Chartreuse. The formula is said to include 130 herbs, plants, flowers, secret ingredients combined in a wine alcohol base. And what's important to understand about this is how they say it's said to. No one in the modern world really knows what's in this other than two monks. And it's passed down orally. These two monks are never put in a situation where they could both die at the same time.
Yeah. So now, as a connoisseur and bartender, can you taste anything that like show that it's a wine base? Or is everything else so strong you would never be able to pick up on it?
The reason why I feel it's a wine, or the wine is just there to add alcohol. It's there to be just a base.
Okay.
I believe they're calling it wine because it's made from grapes. However, this is some real strong wine.
Yup.
The rest of the world, we may call this like a brandy or a cognac or even a vodka, because vodka doesn't have a defined sugar source.
Yeah. I've taken about 3 or 4 sips and I'm already Dad's toasty.
Yeah, and this is the lighter of the two. Mm-hmm. This is baby's first Chartreuse.
I'm gonna have a good Sunday.
Sunday fun day, right?
Yeah.
All right, so 1605 rolls around and they start working on it. They start making this vegetal elixir of long life. They're using it as medicine for people in the Genepi region of France, which is where they're at, and giving it to the village, and they are all, enjoying this, and it's helping treat a few different issues.
Like what kind of issues?
I wish I had some more specifics on that. Like I said, these are monks. They don't talk a whole lot.
Okay.
They are allowed to speak twice a week in very small increments. They are.
So if I were to ask a monk what these treated, they would just kind of look at each other and be like,
Yeah. So
were they pouring this stuff on herpes? That's what I want to know.
I wish I had that information. For some reason, I don't feel like herpes was a big thing in the 1600s in the mountain regions of France.
True. It was more like leprosy.
Yeah, leprosy might have been a problem. I'm sure this was used to treat something like insomnia, coughs and colds.
Oh, it'll definitely treat insomnia.
Yeah, it'll put you right to sleep. It's a great. I actually drink it right before bed.
Dad's gonna order shawarma and take a nap after this.
I like to drink it right before bed. I have a pretty serious knee injury that I received a few years back, and I use it right before bed in place of like NyQuil or painkillers. At least in my head, I feel like that's a healthier option.
Yeah, and you're talking to a guy who loved painkillers at one point.
Yeah, like I said, it's a pretty serious injury, and I am someone who shies away from pain medicine as much as possible. Mm-hmm. I think there's too many negative things happening with it right now. If alcohol works and I can do that in moderation, then that's my plan.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about how it's like when we're sick, we'll take a shot of whiskey.
Yeah.
I use Malort to clear my sinuses.
Yeah, and I mean, apothecaries used to be the ones dealing this stuff, so like it was made as medicine. So they start making it, they start selling it, and then the French Revolution runs around, or happens, right? And so what happened during the French Revolution is you have the two upper castes, right? You have the first and second estate. The first estate is the royalty, and the second estate is the church and the clergy. Well, monks are part of the church. So what they did is they copied down the manuscript and gave it to one of the monks, and all of the monks left except for one, because there always has to be a monk at Le Grand Chartreuse. So one monk stayed with the original recipe, another left with a copy of it. To my knowledge, Le Grand Chartreuse at that point was taken over, and it may have even been burned down or severely damaged, because I know it wasn't re-inhabited for several years after this. But so the monk with the manuscript ends up getting put in jail instead of being killed, which in itself was amazing, that this monk wasn't just killed, because they were beheading everyone. Instead, they put him in jail. And so he's in jail with the manuscript, and he's hiding it, he's smuggling it, and he knows he's not going to get out. So he passes it along to the guy in the cell next to him, who holds on to it. He gets out of jail, he's released.
And who's also smuggling.
Who's now also a smuggler.
I like to imagine that this transaction was butt to butt.
I don't think they necessarily had to be that smart about smuggling back then. I'm sure it was a little easier. I don't think they were doing cavity searches
Okay.
back in the 1700s, 1800s.
Well, then what a perfect time to do a butt-to-butt transfer.
Yeah, good point.
Now, because of the first revolution, that's Napoleon's involved with that?
Napoleon rises to power just after the French Revolution, if I remember correctly.
Because there's two revolutions, and the second one is like Jean Valjean Revolution.
Right, which
cool.
I am not the history major in this household. I have a weird brain and remember what's told to me, and I look things up pretty often. I like a good story, but when you start getting into specific dates, you'll lose me every time.
Fair enough.
But yeah, so Napoleon rises to power after this. This guy has this manuscript, and there was this mandate put out that if you were withholding any secret documents, manuscripts, anything like that, it had to be turned in to the French government. So this guy turns in the manuscript to the French government, and he receives it back in the mail later and says that he doesn't need to worry about it. It's something they were already aware of.
Huh.
Which is weird because no one knows this recipe and it's the only remaining copy. It's really an interesting part of the story that the French government sent it back to him and told him not to worry about it. Maybe it was just a clerical error. Maybe it was just, they were looking for something specific and this definitely wasn't it, so they didn't care. But so he gets it back.
I wish Chicago would do that with my tickets.
Yeah, it'd be
just
wonderful.
Send in money. They're like, oh, no, you don't need to do this. Oh, yay.
Yeah, it'd be amazing. Parking tickets are crazy here.
I fucking got popped for not having the city stamp. It's dumb. Anyway.
So he takes the manuscript now that it's back to him. He's like, well, if it's no longer secret information, I don't think I need to hold on to this anymore. And he gets the manuscript back to the monks.
Once again, butt to butt.
No, I think this time he may have washed his hands and actually handed it to them.
Okay.
And so they start distilling and making green chartreuse again. And during this time period, some of the monks that escaped, to my knowledge, were actually making chartreuse in Spain for a little while. And then once Le Grand Chartreuse was reopened and the monks reestablished it, they moved all production back there. And so it's been made in Le Grand Chartreuse in the French Alps since then, which we have this wonderful thing now. And what's kind of cool about it is because this is passed down as oral tradition, every single batch is a little different because it's as close to being 100% handmade as possible because it's being made by monks in a super traditional style. They're still making it exactly the same way all the same technology. Nothing's changed. They grow everything that goes into it nearby in the mountains. It's just a really wonderful story, down to the point that they use these 50-pound bags that they pack with all of the herbs that they're going into it.
And I mean, over generation, that's going to probably be off by a decimal.
Yeah, so like maybe the monk was tired that day and only put 48 pounds in the bag. And so they fill all these little bags, all these different ingredients, because 50 pounds is roughly what a monk could carry across the distillery.
Yeah.
And it's only 2 of them. So they're making all of this on there. You just take a big drink of the green Chartreuse, didn't you?
No, I just finished the yellow one.
Oh. Yeah, you that was a big old sip there, Jake.
It sure was.
You want to tell me what you're feeling and tasting right now?
It's a lot of the licorice, whatever the word was.
Anise.
Anise, yeah, the star anise. A lot of that, and just
Remind you of absinthe?
it reminds me of my Jaeger phase in college.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Which Jaeger's something we'll have to dig into and introduce to Schwarzog.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Which I'm sure you probably had a shot of once or twice with Addy or I bartending for you, as we're big fans of it. But that'll definitely be another one to dive into.
I mean, I sent you there was a meme on the internet it kind of broke down the Jägermeister logo.
Yeah.
And you think there's a circle or an O around the entire logo, and then there's a deer, a stag, if you will, and then a shining cross. And you break those 3 things down, and you have, oh dear God.
Yeah, I got a pretty good laugh out of that one when you said it to me.
That was a good time. All right, so again, we've got the monks, and so how many generations have there been of monks that know this recipe?
If I had to take a guess, I would say monks live roughly 60 to 70 years. Mm-hmm. And this started in 1605-ish. So if you want to do the math from 1605 to now in like 50-year intervals.
Here's the thing. I don't want to do that math.
Because, well, you asked the question, so I'm giving you all the tools to answer.
It's very much...
There's a reason why I studied music in school, Jake.
Yeah.
It's because I don't like numbers.
Right. I don't either, and that's why I...
Actually, I take that back. I like numbers. Numbers tell you things. I don't like math.
Yeah, there's a difference. Anyway, I think we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll come back with the green Chartreuse, talk a little more about its history, and I'll tell some dumb story, I guess. That's probably what'll happen. All right, we'll be right back.
All right, and we're back, and time to continue on with our history lesson on Chartreuse today.
It's the shortest break we ever took. It's great.
I didn't even get out of my chair. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was nice. I went and got some water because the kid's feeling it.
Yeah, see, the difference is between a comedian and a bartender is I started the show with water next to me. Jake chose not to.
Jake, you're irresponsible. Man.
I've had that conversation with a few bartenders lately anyway. So water's important, guys. Drinking is all about what you do before and after. Mm-hmm. You can do pretty much anything during your window of drinking as long as you can make sure you set yourself up for success and you don't go past your limits.
Water's always been something that I'm like just generally bad about. Like just consuming water, and to the point where it's like there was a time when I was being conscious about it, and I saw the color of my own piss and went, "That's the ticket."
Yeah, when I was on tour, our tour director would say, "All right, everyone, make sure you check your oil." I was like, wow,
"Yeah, folks at home, did you guys know that stuff's supposed to be almost clear?"
Yeah.
What? Crazy.
Yeah, crazy, right? It's a byproduct of your blood, Jake.
Well, my blood is the same color as a Chuck E. Cheese token.
Oh, dear God, Jake.
So we gave a brief oral history of Chartreuse. And speaking of which, now we've moved on to the green one, which is the original recipe, correct?
Kind of.
So, okay. So when did the yellow come into play?
So yellow is the newest. To my knowledge, the yellow came around 1780s, if not later than that. Maybe even 1800s. Let's see if it actually says on the bottle. Yellow Chartreuse is the one I know the least about. What I do know is that It was Queen Victoria's favorite drink.
The yellow one?
The yellow. Apparently she would have 3 ounces of it every day.
Fuck off.
I mean, that's about how much we have in the glass right now is 3 ounces.
Oh, okay. Again, we just had to talk about math. It's not good for me.
So Jake, when I typically make you a cocktail, the base spirit's 2 ounces. Okay. So we're just like, a single pour more than that.
All right, that's fair. So I'm gonna try the green one real quick. Which
this one we are.
Again, it's actually I'm getting more of the anise scent out of this.
Yeah, so that's something that I always heard when there's a lot more of the star anise taste in the yellow, but in the green you get more of the nose.
How does that work?
So I think a lot of it has to do with what they are sweetened with. So yellow chartreuse is sweetened with honey. Mm-hmm. Where green chartreuse is sweetened with beet sugar. So honey is going to cover up a lot of that scent in the nose, where the beet sugar I don't think is going to hide much. It's going to be pretty neutral.
Uh-huh.
You just got real deep in that glass and burned your eyes with the alcohol, didn't you?
Yeah.
So Jake, that's why we open our mouth when we smell alcohol.
Okay. Well, the damage is done. I'm going to drink now.
Yeah, Jake's pretty close to crying right now. It's actually kind of wonderful. It's a little touching to see him get so worked up over this wonderful glass of alcohol.
I try to be vulnerable here and there. Let the ladies know I got it in me. The ticker works.
So, if you are someone who has not had chartreuse before...
That's a way stronger burn.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, that one will wake you up.
This one I know to sip.
So, this one... If you've never had chartreuse before, and I recommend everyone try it, is they need to get a glass of it, just neat, and then they need to just put some of it on their lips and then lick their lips and taste it that way at first.
See how you feel.
Because you're going to get all the flavor that way, but none of the burn.
Okay, I'm going to try that real quick. Do I just use my finger or?
No, just tilt the glass until it touches your top lip and then lick it off your lip.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah, no burn, but all the flavor. Mm-hmm. The issue is that would just take forever to finish a glass of it. So, while I find that
don't tempt me.
Yeah. I mean, you can sip on neat chartreuse all day. It's not like it's going to go bad.
Right.
Speaking of, something interesting about chartreuse that I learned last week is that it continues aging in the bottle. I don't know the science behind that, but...
Crazy.
From the CEO of Chartreuse, it continues aging in the bottle.
That's right. If we're wrong, go after him.
Funny story, everything that he knows, the world knows. He has no information on it that's not public information.
Okay.
There's no more information than what we can give you because it is such a closely guarded secret. And part of that's interesting is they actually make more products. You can't get them in America, though. Because Chartreuse was grandfathered in before customs was set up the same way it is now.
Okay.
Anything they bring in, they would have to disclose the recipe for or know what the ingredients are. Green and yellow chartreuse are old enough and have been imported long enough that they didn't have to do that, so they're grandfathered in, which led to some interesting things happening.
Now, I have a question, because the first thing that, when someone sees green liquor, they think absinthe.
Right.
Is there a connection?
Well, they are both alcohol from Europe, and they both have green color to them.
Thanks.
They both possess star anise.
Okay.
They both have the potential to be high alcohol content.
Now, because the absinthe before of old that isn't what is sold today was green. Yes.
So you can still get green absinthe today.
Okay.
However, to my knowledge, at least from the recent tasting event that I went to, the only true green absinthe or absinthe verte that is imported into America is from St. George.
And that's the stuff with the wormwood?
So, we'll definitely get into wormwood, but that's a story for another time.
Okay.
That's a lot of information there, but there's a reason why everyone should be upset with the wine industry over that and prohibition and a few other things.
What? Jake trying to go on a tangent? No way.
Yeah, it'd be very, very tangential, and it's something I get kind of worked up about, so I'd love to really dive into that later.
All right, we'll get there.
So
there's no correlation just outside of them both being green.
Right. They are both green. Absinthe Blanc is what you see most in the U.S. now, which is just white or clear absinthe.
With the spoon and the sugar cube.
Yeah, you can do it that way, or I enjoy it sprayed into a Sazerac.
Okay.
A little cognac, twist of lemon.
I'd fuck with that.
Yeah, some Peychaud's.
So, we were talking about customs and like shipping.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how this shit got to America.
So it was brought into America by Europeans that were wanting to come in and drink Chartreuse because it's what they drank back home. It's what they wanted here. And then it started falling off. And then in the 70s, there was a thing that happened with the marketing team at Chartreuse that the monks maybe didn't know about because there's no way they would have been cool with it.
That's two things that don't mix: monks and marketing.
Yeah, it's... Yeah, the monks are very particular. You would think that people that only speak for like a maximum of 40 minutes a week...
They make them words count.
Yeah, they have some strong opinions.
Oh, yeah.
There were these things called swamp water kits.
Mm-hmm.
And what it was green chartreuse and a few other ingredients and some party games like Twister that were all packaged together. And the basic premise was back in the 70s, you'd throw a very 70s party called a swamp water party with green chartreuse and some mixers. Basically, it was advertised as guaranteed to get you laid because what it would do is it would get your girlfriend or whoever so drunk that she couldn't say no. And that was basically the advertisement for it in the 70s.
Yeah, because swamp water parties, as far as I know, involve voodoo and a guy going like, you go in there and you're never gonna come out again.
Something like that. But
that's the swamp water party, I know.
But yeah, so this was massively successful in the 70s. People were buying the shit out of it. It was crazy. It was one of the highest sales points in America they've ever had.
That's creepy.
And then in the 80s, they were like, whoa, this is messed up. We can't do this.
Yeah.
And so they got rid of it and sales dropped until pretty recently with the cocktail revival here in America. Mm-hmm. Thanks to a bar program, and I wish I could remember the guy's name, up in New York at Death & Co. that rediscovered this cocktail manual from the Detroit Athletic Club. So Prohibition hit. All alcohol knowledge was basically scrubbed from America.
Whoa.
Book burnings, destruction of all the alcohol they had. They didn't want people to know about alcohol. They wanted it to be like alcohol never existed in America.
And here we are in the city that kept it alive and well.
Yeah. The city with some of the strongest rules in Prohibition, too.
Uh-huh.
And we were just, the stricter you are on us, the more clever we get.
Yeah.
This,
And then some little guy named Al showed up and went, hey, suck my syphilitic dick. And kept it going.
So the marketing team was like, yeah, we can't do that. We can't do that. So they got rid of the swamp water parties, and then just before Prohibition rolls around, there's this wonderful cocktail called the Last Word, which is...
I've heard you talk about this one before.
I've made you a Last Word before. They're delicious. You may not remember it because it was a few cocktails in, and it's real strong.
Oh.
So let's go through the ingredient list. We have gin, maraschino liqueur, chartreuse, and lime juice.
I've had one of those?
Yeah.
Ooh, boy.
Yeah.
What happened to me that night?
You probably did a comedy show, if I had to guess.
Okay.
It was one of those interesting nights in Joliet. You probably went to the donut after.
If I had that many cocktails, it didn't go well.
But yeah, so Last Word is a pre-Prohibition cocktail that is one of my favorite cocktails on the planet. And saw a massive revitalization around 2007 to 2009 and has been popular since as a classic cocktail. But like I said, it was rediscovered from the Detroit Athletic Club manual, and to my knowledge, it was the last cocktail published before Prohibition.
Before we continue with this, I want to interject for a minute. What is it between the two, the yellow and the green, that the green had such a warmer... I just took 2 little sips of both. The green had such a warmer feeling in my mouth. Is that just alcohol content?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's a different blend of ingredients, but the only definitive answer I can give you is it's got a lot more alcohol.
Now, okay, another thing, just to backtrack a bit.
30% more alcohol.
Sorry, Dad's tipsy and distracted. You said the yellow gets its color from saffron.
Yes.
Where does green get in the picture?
Yes.
What is... Okay.
They are super proud of its color because this isn't just a distillation or an infusion or coloring added. This is a maceration. It's like making hot tea.
So that color is just the amalgamation of everything.
Right. So
Fuck.
the spirit is 6 times distilled, but all in separate small batches.
You remember when you were a little kid and you mixed all the finger paints together and it just made a diarrhea black?
Yeah, they found out how to do that, but in a pleasing way.
Well, how about it? Good on them.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. You mix a bunch of green things together, you get a green spirit.
Yeah, well, good on them. All right, so we were talking, they got rid of the swamp otter parties, and it came back around, you said, like 07 to 09.
Right.
With the last word.
With the last word, this guy from Death & Co. rediscovered the manual and started making it and kind of brought Chartreuse back to America and kind of put it on the forefront of every cocktail bartender's brain. Everyone was trying to figure out what to do with it and how to work with it. It was like Chartreuse fever. Everyone was buying Chartreuse.
So when would you say your first run-in with Chartreuse was?
So my first run-in with Chartreuse was probably 2014, 15. I had a friend, actually one of my best friends back in Georgia, who introduced me to Trappist beer. We were drinking Chimay on his birthday. He had introduced to Chimay Blue.
And you're not much of a beer fan.
I'm not. And honestly, I'm not a big fan of Trappist ales either because they're super, super bready. So while we're talking about monks and alcohol, there's a lot of different monks that make different kinds of alcohol. You have like Dom Benedictine, which is also known as B&B, which is Benedictine and brandy. That's made by monks. There's Chartreuse, and then you have Trappist ales. So Trappist monks are only allowed to eat solid food for like a portion of the year, and the rest of the year they drink beer to get their calorie content. So they make a super high carb beer
Fuck yeah,
called Trappist ale, and that's their food.
That's how I like to party.
Yeah. So it's kind of funny in America. We have, especially as me, I grew up in the South, in the heart of the Bible Belt in Northwest Georgia, where drinking was a sin. And like you couldn't drink in public because everyone would see you drinking and they would, have bad things to say about you. It would be so weird as a bartender, as a server. I'd walk to a table and I'd offer the alcohol and they go, "Oh, we don't drink, we're Christians." It's like, y'all doing this wrong. There's monks getting wasted for like 6 months out of the year. They don't even eat food.
Yeah.
It's beer or nothing.
All right, so you were drinking the Trappist with your friend.
Yeah, and so that got me onto this idea of, I wonder what else monks make. And so through some independent study and research, I found Chartreuse. And so then I saved up some money, because I was still serving at the time, and bought myself a little bottle and took a sip out of it and went, whoa. Because it's just so different from anything else I'd ever had. And me being like, oh yeah, I drink whiskey, high-proof whiskey all the time. I'll just drink this, it'll be good. No, don't get that in your head. Do not think you can just sit down and start drinking Chartreuse.
Yeah, this will kick you in the dick.
It is unapologetically 110 proof. Which is not a bad thing, but just be aware that this is a very aggressive alcohol. So you need to approach it kind of with a little bit of respect for its strength.
It's a one and done kind of thing.
I'd love to sit and sip Chartreuse all day. And that might be what I do today, because it's a nice day to do that.
Yeah, it sure is.
Sit out on the back porch and drink Chartreuse. It'll be great.
So, I don't know, we usually end with like a drinking story, and I don't have a guess, so I guess I'm going to come up with something.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's, I guess I could talk about the disappearing girl at Subway.
Okay. I've heard bits and pieces, or at least this mentioned before.
I think this story may have gotten told on the teaser.
Okay.
But I think I can do a better job. So I have a pal. He was one of my first college roommates when I moved up here to Chicago to go to Columbia. Like a month or so had gone on, and through that time, like I'd met him, I had met like his group of friends, and kind of got integrated into that circle. And then the night came where it was like the first time we were all going to a house party together. And he, at this time, he was very much a man on a mission at every party, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. He was trying to get laid.
Yes. Not only was he trying to get laid, he was trying to make sure we all got laid. He lined us
yeah.
up like his fucking troops and gave us a speech about how we need to be on point tonight.
He's this guy.
Yeah, he's calmed down since then. He's a really good guy. But so he gives us his whole spiel. It was about 10 minutes. And we went to the party. The party went, it kicked off. Everyone got something. At minimum a phone number, except him.
Perfect.
So we're leaving the party and we are just letting him have it. Like, oh, be on point, huh? Where's your being on point? And just giving him, and he's just stoic and silent. And I'm like, what's he up to?
Yeah, there's something up.
He's a man with a plan. So it's balls early in the morning. It's almost 5:00. Somehow we stayed at this party for way past our welcome. And the only thing that happened to be open on Belmont Avenue at the time, the first thing we tried was a diner called Clark's. That was packed. Then we went just down the way to a establishment that I've taken you to, Cheesy's. That was packed. The only thing that was open and not packed to the gills was a Subway. And we were at a point where we weren't going to be choosy. So we enter this establishment.
I just remembered where the story ends.
Yeah. We all get in line, and the only person in the establishment besides the one employee is a woman in a, I'm going to say, ill-fitting strapless leopard print dress.
It may have been leather. We don't know.
Hey, I don't know. It was ill-fitting, is what I will say. So we're just going through, making our, listing our demands to the employee. I get to about the point where they ask if I want my sandwich toasted, which of course I do.
Yeah. If you don't get your sandwich toasted at Subway, you're wrong. It's free. And it definitely increases the quality.
How do you like your sandwich at Subway? I like them cold like a monster.
I'd like my sandwich raw, please.
Yeah, right?
Can I get my sandwich blue rare?
That's how I can't believe anyone likes Jimmy John's.
Yeah.
You can make a cold sandwich at home. Go to Subway, go to Potbelly.
And you didn't have to pay a terrible person to do it.
Yeah, he's a bad dude. But so they asked me if I want my sandwich toasted. I turned back. My pal, he is making small talk with this woman, which I'm like, okay, he's a friendly guy. Do your thing, man. Ding! Sandwich coming out of the oven. I look back again. She is sharing her sandwich with him.
Oh.
And I'm like, what? Free food? Man, you charming son of a bitch.
Hey, you may have gotten a number, but he got a free sandwich.
Yeah. I get to all my veggies on it. I'm doing the chicken teriyaki on an Italian urban cheese. Throw a little spinach, a little red onion.
Solid choices.
Yeah, I know my shit. I get to the cashier. I look back. They're fucking gone. They're gone. They've left together. What? You bring it? Huh? And I look back.
Everyone else picked up someone at a party where I'm guessing the ratio was somewhat like maybe slightly too many men.
I want to say so. The ratio at Columbia when I was going was 3 females to 1 male.
Okay.
Solid numbers if that's your game.
You ready for the nuts situation that I went to college in?
What?
25 to 1 female to male.
Where did you go?
I went to a private university in the mountains of Georgia that used to be an all-girls school.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, the town itself was like 10 to 1 female to male.
All right. Just Georgia's version of the Amazons?
Yeah, it was interesting.
Okay.
All the girls dated people not from that town, though, so...
Yeah.
They all dated people from, like, north of Atlanta.
But anyway, there were 5 of us. None of us saw them leave. So this is the, just fucked off into the night. And we were hungry, so we said, oh, fuck it, I'm going to eat.
Solid choices still. Your friend could have been kidnapped.
Yeah,
whatever.
Did we have concern for him? Sure.
That sandwich was laced.
Yeah, but again, I got a toasted sandwich. I didn't want it to get cold.
Absolutely, you got to eat it hot.
Yeah. Why get it toasted otherwise?
Yeah.
And he shows up about 20 minutes later. He just comes back alone. And I look at him and hey, man, what happened? And apparently what happened is they got to, so I'm on, and this is a very Chicago thing to say, we're on Belmont at Kenmore. He walked her all the way to the lake. And then they got to the lake, and she went, so where are we going? That's a mean voice to use.
No, this is like 5 a.m. at a Subway.
This is like...
Yeah,
That's the voice of a bullfrog in a Disney movie. Where are we going? And he just kind of looked at her and went, I can't do this. And walked all the way back.
That's what happened. Likely story.
This is the story that I was presented. I'm just presenting as it was presented to me. And he was like, yeah, I couldn't do it. I got there and I was like, yeah, it all came to me. And I was like, oh, this isn't going to end well. And he came back and the one Subway employee just overhears and just goes, hey, free sandwich for you, man. And I was like, wait, why does I want a free sandwich? Why does I get a free sandwich? What? I don't know. It was just a strange occurrence. I don't know.
Round of applause, though, for that Subway worker.
Yeah, I guess.
Also, Subway, a company that could realistically be run at just about every location with only 2 people.
Yeah.
You need a manager and a full-time employee that's basically also a manager.
Yep.
And that's your whole crew.
Yeah,
The prep work, that, you probably have an extra person for all the prep work, but if you're not open 24 hours, you could do it.
Yeah, that chicken teriyaki sandwich got me through some rough times. But no, it was just a really strange occurrence, and it was just kind of my first party experience in Chicago. So it just left me with a very...
I haven't really been to a Chicago party yet, so we need to acquire the information, some details on a Chicago party, and let's get there.
Yeah, I'll make it happen. And then, lo and behold, I had the number of that girl, and we saw each other a couple times, and just stuff wasn't working. And
they might have pills for that now,
not like that. There's an emotional not working.
Oh. Well, they might have pills for that, too.
Yeah. But there was a particular party where she was supposed to come, and, it had been going on for a long time, and people were like, are you going to, ask her out or what? Blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I'm working on it. And he took the initiative to really push me and go, seal the deal or I will.
Oh.
And I was like, wow, man.
I got a feeling he would have done it, too.
Et tu brute, man. And then she didn't show up, and we both looked like idiots. But it's fine. I'm here. I do this now. And who knows where I'd be if I had run away with this lovely lass.
Probably not drinking Chartreuse on a Sunday.
No, probably not. But yeah, that'll do it for us. How you feeling about this, bud?
Anytime I have Chartreuse is a good day.
Oh, yeah. And then, it was fun to have a little history lesson and just catch up one-on-one, hang out. And we'll be back. Like I said in the last episode, we're dialing it back to releasing every other week while we test out some new things and get some new stuff going on.
Yeah, lots of improvement in the area of sound design for us. So.
Yeah, we're in a new space. We have an entire room dedicated to the podcast, and it looks like shambles, but it helped.
Yeah, well, we'll find out when we actually get to listen to this.
Yes,
it felt good.
Yeah, I'm not mad about it. But yeah, again, always follow us on social media at the Boozatory on Instagram and Twitter. Again, Instagram is really going to be your visual element to everything we're doing. We're working on all kinds of new stuff, though. Oh, Jesus. And all kinds of, just kind of keep an eye out. There's times where PJ and I are just kind of out and about, and we'll always post about it in the Instagram story. Come to a bar that we're at and say hi, and
or
we'll be
if you have a question about alcohol, email us, Instagram us, message us, whatever you want to do. Get in contact with us. We're not gonna push you away.
We love to hear your questions, your feedback, your comments. Give them to us.
Or if you just want to meet up at a bar and grab some Chartreuse,
yeah,
always a good idea.
Yes, I won't pay for it. And then, again, the biggest thing you can do for us is always, rate and subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on.
Drop some likes.
Drop a like,
give us the retweets.
A nice word. That's how we look good. And then iTunes goes, hey, you look good. And we go, yeah, we do. And then they put us on stuff. So that's all we really want.
Yeah, share it with your friends.
Yeah.
Just like a great bottle of Chartreuse, it's meant to be shared.
Yeah, remember that part where I said I was going to order a calzone and take a nap? That's happening right now.
I think you said falafel.
Did I?
It was something like that. It was Mediterranean.
Well, it's a calzone now.
All right. Solid.
Yeah. That'll do it. All right. Bye, guys. Thank you.